Before I start this video, if you aren't a creative person, you gotta go. I'm sorry, this video is for creative people only. Hello? What do you mean there's no such thing as someone who isn't creative? Note to self, never make a joke again. Okay, but seriously, today I wanted to talk about creativity. It's a topic I've been thinking a lot about lately. Can anyone be creative? What makes someone or something creative? Are you creative? Am I creative? All of these questions stem from the idea that creativity is like an on-off switch. Either you have it or you don't. But I don't think it's that black and white. The more I've gotten into film and photography, the more I've had people tell me things like, "You're so creative," and "I could never think of anything like that." And I mean, obviously I'm flattered, but up until a month ago, I didn't think I was that creative either. In my mind, that label was reserved for someone who had a special set of abilities and capabilities far beyond my own. Well, that all changed when I got an email.
Into a hot trigger.
It was from James Clear, a New York Times bestseller and the author of one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits. Let me just clarify, he was not emailing me personally. It was his weekly newsletter that goes out to probably 1 million people. Anyways, inside it, he included this passage. One form of originality is creation. Another is synthesis. Synthesis is the act of combining existing ideas to make something new. And let me just say, it changed my entire view of creativity. Creativity is not just limited to making something new out of nothing. It also includes synthesizing ideas from different sources, or as I like to think of it, connecting two seemingly unrelated ideas. In my mind, this takes some of the pressure off of being creative. I don't have to invent something new every time. To better illustrate this idea, let me show you this process in action for a scene from my last video on this channel.
Start this.
Maybe he should just stop.
He has no idea.
You know, the grass is always greener on the other side.
What's he thinking?
There's no point.
He can't handle the pressure.
There's no
Pressure.
There's no point.
Okay, so first we'll look at the visuals. Originally, when I created this scene, I didn't want any visuals at all. I wanted it to be a black screen with the cool voices playing in the ears. But after watching it a couple times, it just didn't look quite right. It needed something more. So I put my thinking cap on, and I remembered that a few weeks ago I tried out a cool effect called posterization. I tried it on a couple clips, but it still looked like garbage. It didn't look good. A few days and a lot of inner turmoil later, I had the bright idea that instead of just going through the footage that I already used in my video, why don't I go through the footage that I deleted? After some searching, I stumbled upon this clip. I combined it with the posterization effect from earlier, and it almost looked right. I needed one more element. So this time, I not only put on my thinking cap, but I put on my thinking toque. This time, I went way back in my archives and found this background that I made in 2018 and never actually used. I dropped it in my timeline, combined it with the other effects, and bam, we got this look.
Maybe he should just stop.
He has no idea.
You know, the grass is always greener on the other side.
What's he thinking?
There's no point.
Now, this is just one example of how synthesizing can lead you to be more creative. I combined a bunch of different discarded ideas, clips, projects together to make the finished look. Even the background voices in the scene were inspired from a song by Jaden Smith.
He doesn't remember.
Can you hear me?
When you start to look at ideas through the lens of synthesis, you begin to uncover an underlying web of connectivity. Nothing is new anymore. Everything is just ideas stacked upon ideas, stacked upon ideas. Or more simply put, everything is a remix. Okay, let's take a step back. I know I'm getting a little bit deep here, and a lot of you are probably thinking, Tommy, my brain doesn't work like that, and I don't know what to connect or how to connect different ideas together. Well, I have some good news for you because you already practiced synthesis without even realizing it. Not sure what to make for dinner? Maybe you rummage through your fridge, find a bunch of different leftovers, and combine them together to make something new. That's creative. Do you like listening to music? Well, maybe you combine a bunch of your favorite songs together to make the ultimate playlist. That right there is creative. Creativity isn't just limited to being artistic. It's in everything we do. It's finding solutions to problems that aren't immediately obvious. But what if you want to get better at it? Well, there's a couple things you can try that really worked for me that helped me to cultivate more creativity. After all, it's like a muscle. The more you work at it, the stronger it gets. See that? Filling out the T. Filling it out. The first thing I would suggest is to have a way to capture any stray idea you may have. This could be through the Notes app on your phone, a little sticky note, maybe a quick voice recording, whatever. Personally, I keep a journal. Being able to actually have a physical record of your ideas will help you better retain them in your memory, as well as have a record for them for future reference. The idea for this video actually came from a quick note I jotted down in my journal after reading James's article. It wasn't until a few weeks had passed that I finally connected the dots and realized that it would make a great video topic. A little practice I like to do is to flip to 2 random pages in my journal and see if I can make any connections between the two. You'd be surprised how often 2 completely unrelated topics can blend together perfectly. Next, you need to embrace your weird side. Usually my best ideas come from something I initially hated or thought was way too out there. It takes courage to be creative. It requires you to expose your vulnerabilities and imperfections to the world. You're putting your innermost thoughts on display for the rest of the world. And generally, that's not what I would like people to see. My final tip would be to explore. Listen to music you don't normally like, drive down a road you've never been down before, start a new hobby.
Ow.
The list is endless. Your creativity will draw on every aspect of your life. Therefore, the richer your life experiences, the more creative you're gonna be.
Oh my god.
In the end, the most personal is the most creative. So what might seem boring to you may be fascinating to other people. Just by virtue of existing, you are being creative. No matter what you do in your life, it has never happened before in that exact way. Living is the most creative thing you'll ever do.
Woo.
I gotta give myself a pat on the back here. I actually finished this video in like less than 3 months. I know. Thank you, everyone. I deserve it. I just want to say thank you so much for such a positive response on my first video. It seemed to really resonate with people, which just means the world to me. So thank you again, and I'm really loving making these videos, so I'm going to plan on making a bunch more. And let me know what you thought of this one. Did you like the direction we went with it? Should I do something completely different? Should I delete my channel? I don't know. Let me know. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. That really helps me out. And if we want to talk about being creative, a lot of that B-roll you saw with those crazy flares, it was thanks to this guy right under the lens. Doesn't really work with this angle, but I remembered from an old Peter McKinnon video that you can hold a knife up under your lens and get some cool reflections. So that right there, that's creativity. I think that's everything. The next video should be out in like 3 weeks or something. That seemed to be a good amount of time. So I will see you all then. Do you guys hear that? That is the loudest plane in the world.